Hey pen people, Brian here, and today we're going to be looking at a very rugged pen. Probably the most rugged pen I've ever reviewed, probably the most rugged pen I've ever owned. And so I thought we should come out here to my backyard to a more rugged environment. Actually, this isn't really my backyard, we're house sitting right now, but it's our backyard for now. It's really pretty, it's very rural, very quiet. Also, the pen we're going to be looking at today is a Ballpoint. The first time I've ever reviewed a Ballpoint on my channel. Over the last year or so, I've been getting into ballpoints just a little more. I still prefer fountain pens, but ballpoints are just nice and convenient to have in your pocket on the fly when you're out and about, especially when you're out in the rugged wild, going on adventures. So ballpoints can be handy. And actually, the ballpoint I'm going to show you, I kind of love it. It's giving my fountain pens a run for their money a little bit. And that pen is the Bolt Action ballpoint pen from a company called Bastion. It comes in a wide variety of finishes and different metals. This particular one is just kind of a plain raw finish, and it is titanium, solid titanium. So that's kind of cool. And I should say that this pen was provided to me for free for an honest review. I will endeavor to keep that review honest and as impartial as I can. If you watch this review and decide, hey, I think I would like a pen like that, you can check out the link below. I've got a promo code to give you a discount, and it is an affiliate link, so I will get a cut of your purchase. Just full disclosure there. But like I said, this review will be as honest and unbiased as possible. But the good news is I actually do love this pen, and it's been with me as I go out and about pretty much everywhere for the last couple of weeks. I've really enjoyed carrying this pen around. So what I'm going to do today is go over all the different features of this pen, which I really like. There's not really a lot that I don't care for about this pen, but I will go over a couple of considerations, things to keep in mind before you make a purchase. Okay, so for the features, let's start with the Bolt Action mechanism right here that opens and closes the pen. That's one of the big selling points of this pen, and there's a few companies that do it now, and I have not tried any of those other ones. This is my first Bolt Action pen. That's actually one of the reasons why I decided to go with a Ballpoint when Bastion reached out to me. They do have fountain pens, but they are not retractable. They don't have a Bolt Action. They do look pretty cool though. So if you want to check out their fountain pen offerings, you can do that. They're interesting. Anyway, but Bolt Action is kind of fun. It's kind of a fidgety thing to be able to switch this little bolt back and forth to open and close the pen. So it's a lot different than your usual just click top or twist or whatever. So I like that it's different, and I like that you can do it easily with one hand. That's really nice. I've also really appreciated how if you have this slipped in your jeans pocket or something, clipped there, there's no way to accidentally click it open in your pocket. You have to be pretty intentional about it. The only branding on the pen, it just says Bastion with their little logo right there next to the bolt. But that's it. It's a pretty minimalist design. Otherwise, I like that there's not some giant logo stamped all across the pen. One thing that I really like about this pen too is that it takes Parker style refills. So that really opens up your options a lot as far as colors and different brands that make that size of a cartridge. And if you want to take the ballpoint refill out and put a rollerball refill in for a slightly more fountain pen-esque feel, you can do that. So there are a lot of options as far as refills, but the refill that came with this, the ballpoint refill, I really like it quite a bit. It's interesting. I have some actual Parker brand refills that I use in other pens, and those are fine, but I like this one more. It's smoother. It doesn't have hard starts as often as a lot of ballpoints do. It's very fine. It's just really pleasant to write with. So I've really enjoyed just the basic refill that comes with this pen. So when this refill runs out, I might explore to see what else is out there. I've heard good things about a number of different companies, but I might also just get more Bastion refills because they're pretty spectacular. One question that I've really enjoyed posing to people though is when it's time to put something else in here, how do you even open this thing? And I'll hand this pen to different family members or friends and have them look at it and they'll be like, I actually have no idea how you open this. The machining on this pen is crazy. There is a seam right here, and you can see it a little bit if you look close, especially now that I've had it for a couple of weeks. I feel like maybe it's gotten just a teeny bit of dirt in there or something just from holding it and having it move around my bag and just interacting with the world. So it's more visible now than it was. When I first got it, that seam was completely invisible, but it just unscrews like a pretty typical ballpoint. But that seam is so fine, you really can't feel it at all. But it opens up, and the threading on both sides are metal, which is great. I'm assuming that's titanium on the inside as well. Yeah, the barrel is all one piece, so I think that's just titanium threads, and it's a little harder to tell on the tip of the pen if the threads were inserted with a different material or if they are also titanium. I'm assuming they're also titanium though. One thing I really like too is they stuck an O-ring at the base of the threads. That just makes it so that when you screw this tight, it gives a really nice snug feel, and it's not really going to come unscrewed on you at all. That O-ring does a really good job there. Okay, the other thing is the clip. It's a very basic clip. It's just a flat piece of stainless steel, and it flares up at the end there, and also toward where it attaches to the pen. And it attaches via these little screws here, which I believe if you wanted to, you could just take out with an Allen wrench and remove the clip. I don't know why you'd want to do that because it's a pretty nice clip. I like it. It's very functional. It's fairly stiff, not too stiff in my opinion, and that flare at the end makes it really easy to attach to pretty much anything. Okay, so like I've said, this pen is great. I love it. There are a couple of things to keep in mind before you make a purchase, just to make sure that you're aware of them. But in my mind, they're not really cons. They're just, again, things to be aware of. The first of those is weight. This is a solid, rugged metal pen. It's kind of heavy. When I first got it, I was a little surprised at how heavy it was. I got their titanium version specifically because I knew it would be really durable, but lighter than stainless steel, which they also offer. And I think there's also brass and copper and some other things. Those are all going to be really heavy. So the titanium is a bit lighter, but it still has a good heft to it. It's one of the heavier pens I own. So I don't really regret getting it in titanium. I think the titanium is really cool. I think maybe aluminum may have been a little more practical for me for the things that I would like to use this pen for, like taking it on hikes. When you do that kind of thing, it's all about being lightweight. So aluminum would have been nice. But again, the titanium is so rugged and tough and cool. It's cool to have a titanium pen because I don't have another pen that's made out of titanium. Anyway, but it is heavy. So if you like heavy pens, then you'll love this. If you're not really into heavy pens, then go with an aluminum. I think you'll like that better. Another thing to keep in mind is that this pen is quite loud to click and unclick, open and close. So if you are going into some fancy board meeting or something and you are going to take this pen with you, just keep that in mind. You can do it quietly though, and I do it pretty quietly most of the time. It's only when you really let it go and let the spring really take that bolt away that you get a loud click. So you can do it quietly, but it's still going to be a little louder than most ballpoint pens. It's not an issue for me, but it might be for some people. So just throwing that out there. So something that another pen reviewer pointed out about this pen is that it rattles a little bit. There's some wiggle in the internal mechanism. It doesn't bug me. It doesn't rattle when I write. It doesn't rattle when I'm carrying it around. It only rattles when I do this. And that's not how you use a pen. You don't sit down and go like this to use a pen. So it's not an issue, at least not for me. Another thing to consider is size. This pen is pretty thick. And so when I first was trying to get my fingers around this thing, it was a little bit difficult and a little tiring for my fingers. But I've since come to really like the thickness of it. I've gotten used to it and I like it a lot. And the tapering on this pen is so nice that if you hold it further down, which you might want to do anyway, because it's a ballpoint, you're going to want to hold it a little more vertically than you would typically hold a fountain pen. So that tapering just gives you some options as far as if you want to hold it on the very skinny tip, or if you want to hold it further up on the fat body of it. But if this pen is just too thick for you, Bastion also makes a slim version. So that's cool. Same pen as far as I know, but it's skinnier. So that's something to look into if you like slim pens. So I'll mention one other just really quick nitpicky thing. With the clip here, it's very functional. It works really well. I feel like the underside of it, the edges there are a little sharp. You can kind of catch your finger on that. Not in a dangerous way, but it feels a little sharp. So I don't know how well that's going to do with clipping it to certain materials over time. You know, is it going to wear out your shirt pocket more quickly than another clip would? I don't really know. It hasn't been an issue for me day to day, but I have noticed that it is a little sharper underneath there than it is on top. I feel like they did a better job of polishing the top edges of the clip. But yeah, I feel like I'm being a little nitpicky there. Overall, this pen is amazing. Like I said, it has been with me pretty much ever since it arrived. I've really enjoyed it in a lot of different settings, and I'm really excited to take this pen on some adventures. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later.